What's going on, everybody? It's your man Hanz Nobe, music producer and co-founder of the music production company Room 380, and this is episode 41 of the Capitalism and Art podcast. And I'm gonna get right into it. Usually, when it comes to things that happen in the producer community, I usually keep my mouth closed. And the reason why I do that is because 9 times out of 10, if you wait long enough, the issues don't matter anymore. They come and go like waves. What today's issue is will be forgotten tomorrow. And we've seen this before with the loops and presets conversations. We've seen this with splits. We've seen this with what the difference is between a producer and a beat maker. We've even seen this between if BeatStars and Airbit are scams, what you should and shouldn't do, as well as ClickFunnels as well. Any new idea is bound to get torn down and rejected because it's new, it's not been standardized, it's not what's in, and those ideas that don't matter in 5 years don't matter. And what I want to discuss is this whole issue that's going on with the comments made by Futuristic, the producers that are for what he's saying and for what he's against, who are against what he's saying, as well as producers who are trying to tear each other down. There's a whole slew of things I want to get to. And the reason why I want to get into it is because I was talking to Urban Waves about this. About every year there's an event that sets the tone for what's going to happen in the next year. Every year. And we've seen this time and time again, not only in the producer community, but just in the music industry as a whole, where something shakes everyone up, everyone gets all upset, all up in arms, and it becomes the next thing to be talked about for the next year. And sometimes it sets the precedence of what's to come. Sorry, the precedence. And I see already what 2023 is going to be. And I want to make sure I put out some content to make sure I steer you in the right direction, because I know exactly what the conversation is going to be in December 2023. And I know a majority of people are going to miss the boat. I know a majority of those people are still going to complain. And I know the majority of those people are probably going to be the same people who are going to complain December 2024 as well as December 2025. The comment made by Futuristic, we understand, it was clickbait. The whole purpose of the video was to get people's attention, get them to react, and he also did ask people to comment. Now, somehow, people reacting to that has now been labeled as something that's bad. And I want to get into that. When someone says something that you feel that is either offensive or something that you disagree with, it's a natural reaction to get upset. Your emotions are not this vile thing that you should get rid of. That's not how this works. That's not how this life works. Your emotions are tools that you can use as a barometer. You don't know you love producing until you have the emotion of being in love with making records. You don't know not to trust that friend unless you have the emotion of distrust. You don't know that you're passionate about your favorite football team or basketball team or soccer team until you see them lose and you have an actual reaction of being upset. Those are natural emotions. Yet, the content is being put out, not just by one person. By the way, anyone who you could tell that this content is directed to, I have all love for them. I support them on both sides. I'm pretty neutral. You know, they have their opinions, I have mine, and my goal here is not to give my opinion, because my opinion doesn't matter. My goal here is to redirect the focus into something that's more constructive. Their opinion is theirs, they're entitled to it, they're not wrong. And to be quite frank with you, I really don't care. But I see what's coming up for the next year. And I want to make sure that everyone who listens to this particular episode gets practical steps to set themselves up for success for the next year, because I see it coming and it needs to be addressed. When Futuristic put out that video saying that producers don't deserve 50% splits, he did ask, once you get out your feelings, tell me why. I actually responded to it. I said, hey, I have a PR team, I have a digital media specialist, I have a graphic designer, we offer these A&L services, we can do this, that, and the third, and also I've partnered with this publishing house before, so that gives me leverage to get more than 50%. And of course I didn't expect him to respond, but the reason why I retweeted what he's saying with the comment, I just didn't, reply back to the video, was I wanted my followers to see that there's something that's called leverage. So let me explain what this is. Leverage, simply put, means when you have more resources to create a bigger impact, right? So everything I named with the publicist, the social media specialist, the graphic designer, the A&L services we offer, we can produce a record, mix, master it, this, that, and the third. If I have all these resources available for this record and you only have, hey, I have, let's say 5,000 followers, and I say, well, I have data to show I can get you in front of 250,000. And this is what we did with our previous artists that work with us, and this, that, and the third. By and large, I have a much greater leverage in the situation than the artist. So producers, when you're coming across a situation where an artist is saying, hey, I can do this for you, what they're presenting is the amount of leverage that they have. If you have nothing to counteract that, then the artist has greater leverage, which means you can either secede to what they're saying and say, okay, cool, well, we're gonna go with that, or you can decline. That does not mean to go online and bash this person for either not having a budget. This does not mean to go online and call people out by name. This does not mean to go in the DMs and cuss them out. And it kind of brings me to the next thing, which is something that has happened for as long as I've been a producer, which is producers complaining about artists that don't have money, that don't have budgets. Let me call myself out first. When I first started, I did post memes about artists not having budgets. I even made a meme myself, and I get it. But as I got older and started running an actual business, I discovered that the best use of my time wasn't to focus on an artist that didn't have a budget. My best use of time was to focus on artists that did. And the artists that I came across that didn't have a budget, you know what I did? Hey, no problem. Let's touch base in 4 months and talk again. Or if I really like the artist and I really want to work with them, hey, why don't we do a collab then? How about we put the song out through my distribution and I take this much on the back end? Cool, cool. And if they didn't like that, we can negotiate. The goal of the conversation is not to tear the other person down. The goal of the conversation is not to show how dominant I am. The goal of the conversation is not to put this person down. The goal of the conversation is to find a way that we can both work together. That's called negotiating. And if I have more leverage, I will present it. I don't need to make this person feel less than because they don't have a budget, because number one, that's a personal attack because I don't know the situation. I have been told by multiple artists, hey, I just had a kid, I ain't got it. I just lost my job, I ain't got it. My mother just got put in the hospital, I ain't got it. My aunt just passed away, I gotta pay for the funeral, I ain't got it. Those are real situations. So why would I come back and try to make that artist feel bad about not having a budget? To be honest with you, they never even had to tell me that. They could have just said, hey, I ain't got it. And I would say, cool, let's touch back 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever. And then I would circle back. And if they still didn't have it, you know what I did? I directed them to a resource that helped them make more money from the music and say, hey, use this, make your money, and come back and let's talk business. You know what that did sometimes? The artist will come back with a budget. And the reason why they did that is not because of some tactic that I was using. Is that if I'm talking to the artist about possibly producing for them, it's because I actually want to produce for them. And I have no problem directing them to resources that can help them, because in the long run, I understand that I'm going to be in this business until I'm 65. So why would I care that this month and this year, there are artists that doesn't have a budget? What's wrong with me circling back 6 months from now and touching base with them? And if I'm not interested, I won't. It's just that simple. I believe the cure to this for producers is to start talking to more artists. I think the issue for producers is that producers are not talking to enough artists. And I think the reason why producers are not talking to enough artists is that they believe that it's the artist's job to reach out to them. And I believe the reason why is because producers of today don't understand what a brand is. A brand is nothing more but just a word of mouth. It's your reputation. So if you don't know how to run Facebook ads, if you don't have an advertising budget, if you can't afford a publicist, if you can't afford any of these outreach tools, these tools that's going to get your name out there, you know what you should do? You should talk to more artists. There are probably 4 or 5 artists in your DMs right now who've reached out to you, who actually have budgets, but you disregarded them because they only have 12 followers. You've disregarded them because they don't have a certain look. You've totally wiped them from your memory instead of saying, hey, thank you for the follow. Sending me a link to your music. You didn't like any of their pictures. You didn't show any appreciation to the fact that this artist who never met you hit the follow button and they're interested in your content. They want to get to know you. One of my biggest projects this year came from an artist that only has 189 followers. If my ego was big and said, no, you're not big enough, I would have missed out on a really big opportunity. This is how I know the difference between the people who are really here, who really want to do this, and the people that don't. And I want you all to understand that the purpose of a producer, the original definition of it, was a person that allocated the resources to produce a record. You know why Berry Gordy is so successful? Because he found the money to produce the records. He found the resources to get them out there. The original definition of a producer is a person that finds resources to create something. So the fact that an artist reached out to you to have you produce something for them in itself is a big compliment. But your ego is telling you, nah, and you're missing out on money. So the easiest way to alleviate that pressure of trying to get this one artist to pay you for a $20 lease, $50 lease, $250 lease, $5,000 exclusive lease, or whatever else your ticket price is to talk to more artists. When's the last time you went to an event and just say, I'm here to meet at least 10 artists, just to shake hands, just to see what they have going on, with no intent of trying to get anything from them. When's the last time you made the attempt to add someone to your email list with the intent of adding value or practical stuff that's going to help them? When's the last time you reached out to an A&R, looked at his or her catalog, discography, their credits, and just said, yo, do you want to let you know I see you? Big ups. And just left it alone. If you're here for instant gratification, if you're here for quick money, I'm here to tell you it does not exist in this business. Even with B-Stars or a ClickFunnels, it takes on average 3 to 4, sometimes 5 to 6 months before you make your first dollar. Average. We're not talking about the outliers. Average. That's why people in MIDI Money and with Gabe and his tribe, the reason why he stresses so much about provide value, please be here for the right reason, is because those who really want to do this are going to be here for the next 10 years. They're not just thinking about tomorrow. And the issue is a lot of producers are only thinking about tomorrow. So take your time, find artists yourself that you want to work with and build with them. And if you do that just long enough, they'll start paying you. Now, in regard to the next thing I want to touch base on are the key players, and that this is how they're able to grab attention to build their brand. Whether you agree with them or disagree with them is totally irrelevant. In fact, it does not matter. They're utilizing their platform to spread their message. And if you agree with it, that's fantastic. Give it a like, leave a comment, move on. If you don't like it, keep scrolling. If you hate it, mute it. If you have great disdain for it, block them. It's so easy to remove ourselves from situations that give us a negative emotion, yet we choose the hard path of wanting to go engage in stuff that's going to make us upset. What do you benefit from telling Curtis King, Dorian, Beatsworks Beat, DJ Pain 1, Kata, or whomever is on either side of this conversation how much you hate them? From their side, I'm pretty confident in saying that they're probably looking at that like, you're a complete stranger. Why would I care? It's equivalent to going to the grocery store, you mind your business shopping, and someone says, hey man, your shorts, they're ugly. Your initial reaction is probably gonna be like, okay. And you're gonna keep going. Now, if you're insecure about the shorts, and this is the message I don't want you guys to miss, you're probably gonna get upset, aren't you? You're probably gonna sit there and look at them. Think of some sort of reaction, some sort of comeback to make them feel really bad. Now, instead of one person looking like a fool, now there's two. And the only way you can come back with a better comeback and make that person feel less than, you have to say something way nastier and louder. And guess what? The first time the guy said something, you were the only one that caught it. Most people didn't even pay attention to it. So now you're in the middle of a grocery store yelling at this guy, saying these vile things, and everyone's looking at you like you're crazy. He won. He can go about his day. And if he's a real bad person, you know what he's going to do? He's going to film it. He's going to put it online. And now you look crazy. So when I see these producers go in the comments, making threats to each other, telling each other to drop their address, to pull up, making death threats, it's concerning to me, not as a producer, not as someone in the music industry, but just as a human being. Because much like the loops and presets conversation, I'm trying to figure out how did the focus go from producing records for artists and building a brand name to get bigger placements, bigger checks, get publishing, brand deals, and do this not only just full time, but to do this all over the world and live a life that you want to live on your terms. Somehow the focus is more concerned about, hey man, anyone that uses a EQ preset on their snare is not a producer. That's the concern. That's where the focus is. Not, yo, this dude just got 8 placements this year. He got his first one last year, and now he's got 8 this year. We should big him. Hey, yo, can we interview on our podcast? Hey, yo, how did you do that? Not, yo, this chick over here from Brooklyn, she just produced 2 #1 hits from her mom's basement. Hey, yo, how did you get your name out there? Not, hey, yo, this guy's went from being a producer to being a multi-millionaire in the crypto space. Hey, yo, how'd you make that transition? What books, what information did you get to transfer you over, and how can we do that? I have not seen anything in the producer community about Web 3.0 except for one person. And I follow a lot of producers. And then the one that spoke about creating your own crypto, they attacked him. This man has #1 hits, plural, and they attacked him. This man is tied into the biggest of the big names in this space, and they said he was full of shit. So I'm concerned for my community, my tribe, about where the focus is, because I thought we came here to create a life that we wanted, to create music that we wanted to hear. I thought that was the whole purpose of BeatStars, Airbit, and creating your own website. I thought that's what Gabe was trying to tell you guys. I thought that's what Curtis was trying to put you guys on. I thought that's what Busy Word Beats was trying to put you guys on. I thought that's what Superstar O was trying to explain to you guys. Yet it seems like their message is now buried deep underneath this negativity, and I'm wondering why. Why is it so important that someone has a different opinion of yours? They're complete strangers. It does not matter. The music producer community has now become more toxic than the rappers that they want to talk about. I see more rappers collaborating now than I see producers. When did that shift happen? And some of these rappers are part of organizations that are rivals. Couple more things and I'll let you guys go. In regards to building your brand, I still see multiple messages about not getting support. If you have 1 follower on any platform, you have support. Let me explain to you the mindset of someone hitting the follow button. Let me explain to you your mindset when you hit the follow button. When you see your favorite producer, your favorite artist, your favorite personality or celebrity or whomever, when you hit the follow, you're saying not only to yourself, but also to that person, hey, I'm interested. I want to see more of what you have. So if you only have 200 followers, those are 200 people who are interested. Why are you not talking to them? Too many times on Twitter and Instagram, I see people making content that the followers don't even know what's going on. Because the followers don't care. The followers aren't even aware. You're talking about stuff, they have no idea what you're talking about. They have no interest in that. You know what they have interest in? You. So why don't you focus on the content and the music and the things that your fans, your followers are interested in, instead of worrying about what someone else is doing for theirs? And if someone is posting content that you don't like, you can always hit unfollow. 9 times out of 10, that person doesn't even care. 99.9% of the time, they don't even know you even existed. So, what I would like for 2023, for everyone that's listening to this particular episode, I want you to focus on the people who have already shown you support and build with them. And if you need to unfollow everybody you're following now and get that number down to 0, do it. Because if someone unfollows you because you unfollowed them, they were never a fan in the first place. They never cared about what you had going on. I have real life friends that don't follow me back. I don't take a slight to it because I have their phone number and we actually FaceTime each other. So why would I care? So it really comes down to one question that is the foundation of all this. Why are you here? Are you here to produce records and create music that you like and support artists that you like so you can see a shift from your end? Are you here to make as much money as possible and dip? Or are you just here to be popular? What I can tell you from my 10 years of experience in this business is that the ones that focus on the last two don't last long. Because every time they came across an obstacle, they quit. Because they were never here for the finish line. And to be honest with you, in this business, there is no finish line. Nor will there ever be. So I want you all to sit on this episode. I want you all to understand that all of this is just noise and that it won't matter 5 years from now. That's it. That's all I got. This is episode 41 of the Capitalism and Art podcast. My name is Hanz Nobe, music producer and co-founder of the production company Room 380. And as always, I'll see you out in the field. Peace.